Well, hello people on YouTube. This is a Fonz record, as played by Henry Winkler or Henry Winkler or something like that. It was a TV show in the 70s all about the 50s, or at least I think it was to try and soft soap and dumb down the 50s for those people that weren't really there. And my mum found this record. It had been lying around our house for yonks from when I was a child. It's on the Warwick label from the 70s. Okay, look, you can see how bad condition it's in. It was purchased from Woolworths, 1978, 6th of March 1978. There's a date on the label. Wow. Okay, but look, it's absolutely freaking awful. Okay, I did have a go at cleaning it on my anti-stat. That was the original inner sleeve. You can see how yellow that's gone. And I cleaned it on my anti-stat and used actually one of my gold ring ecstatic inner sleeve covers for it. It didn't really work very well. I can't really put this phone down and do this, but it's an ancient record and it's covered. I don't know what you can see because I've got dust on my phone screen as well, but yeah, it's covered in crap basically. That's side 2, that's side 1. Okay, side 1 doesn't seem as bad. Okay, now I'm going to put a demo of this dirty record. Even though it was cleaned by my anti-stat, it didn't do a very good job. My anti-stat is absolutely filthy. Okay, and I need to get a new one. Well, actually, people, sorry, I'm really mishandling this record. I promise I won't do that to any decent records. But actually, people, I don't need to get a new anti-stat because, my lovelies, here is a Moth record cleaner. Okay, it's the first time that I've ever owned one of these. This has never been used before. It's just this minute arrived. These are the instructions. Okay, now contrary to what the man at Juno Records told me, he said that there was no fluid included, no brushes, no anything, just the cleaning machine itself. Well, actually it came with a ton of inner sleeves, came with a brush, it came with cleaning fluid, a litre of this stuff. This is just a small bottle. I've just put some into this little bottle here, which came with it as well. So you get the full bottle of fluid and you get a little sort of, what's it called? Dispensing bottle, I suppose. And the machine itself. So yeah, I'm rather pleased. Okay, I'm going to give this a go at cleaning Happy Days or the Fonz or whatever you want to call it. Okay, yesterday I made a demo of the first track before clean. Okay, or at least only with Disco Anti-Stat clean. Okay, which I cleaned ages ago. Now I'm going to read the instructions on this and have a go at it. Okay, you might have to sort of put up with the fact that I put the phone down and whatnot. Okay, I'm not going to do too much editing with this. So that goes down there. Okay, that brush goes away. Right, okay, so it says remove the small red puck, fit a record to the platter and replace clamp. Okay, right, here is so-called record. Voila. Okay, sorry, just a second. I know this is looking horrible and everything, but you're getting it live. You're getting it live, you're getting it live. Okay, all right, so the record is on the platter and we're going to now replace the puck. Voila. Okay. Don't know how tight that has to be. Okay, right, next. Okay, note, this first record should be dirty but dispensable. You are checking both your cleaning technique and the machine. Switch on the machine. Left hand switch. We have, and it sounds like a jet aircraft taking off. Okay, this is going to be noisy, I promise you. Right, taking care not to wet the label, apply a small amount of fluid to the surface of the record. Okay, there's a small amount of fluid, a couple of drops there. Can you see the small amount of fluid, people? Right, now, using the brush provided, working in the area above the vacuum tube, spread the fluid over the whole grooved area. Oh my lord. Right, I'm doing that now. I don't know what you can see here because I'm not really looking at the screen, I'm looking at me doing it. That's actually not a lot of fluid there, but we're getting it into the grooves. Actually, maybe I shouldn't go in and out. I saw someone on YouTube yesterday going in and out. They had an okie dokie. I'm going to put a dab more on there. Okay, so swiping it round. I don't know whether I've put a lot of fluid on there. Sorry if that went to something else there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've covered this whole record actually, and that's not good for it either. Sorry, because I'm just doing this one-handed. I just dropped the brush on it. Okay. And maybe I shouldn't be going backwards and forwards. Maybe I should just go around in a circle. So we'll do that. Okay. All right. Well. Okay, that's probably. No, because I mean my cloth's even dry. Working in the spread the fluid over the whole of the grooved area. Use only enough fluid to wet the surface. Excessive fluid application is unnecessary and wasteful. Correct amounts of fluid will depend on the level of the record contamination and will be found by experience. Having wet the surface, hold the brush on the record bristles towards the direction of the rotation for as long as is necessary to clean the disc. The amount of scrubbing required is again dependent on the level of record contamination. Note, always clean with rather than across the grooves. Use both clockwise and anti-rotation of the platter during this scrubbing cycle. Right, so in other words, you've really got to do it yourself. I'm going to put a little bit more fluid on here and have another go, I think. Alright, maybe I'm just, that's it, just go right round there. You can use clockwise and anti-clockwise, so we'll go round. That's a bit better. That's a bit better. Okay, always clean with the groove. There we go. Right, what's next? Switch off the turntable, remove the clamp, and turn the record over wet side down. So in other words, you're doing all this by hand. Now, you probably can't see this. All right, for those of you who don't know what a record cleaning machine is, and I should imagine that there'll be some of you here, these are pads on here, and again, you get replacement pads in this pack, okay? But this bit here is actually a hoover, okay, as well, okay? And it will actually vacuum up, okay, all the gunk that's inside the disc, all of the dust and stuff of 40 years. Okay, it will suck it down there, and then this little tap here, when it gets full, it will drain it off. Okay, so you can sort of start again, kind of thing. Okay, but it's not going to get full for several hundred cleans, I would imagine. Okay, all right, but yeah, so we'll give a go, and we'll see what happens here. So we'll put the clamp back on. Okay. Restart the turntable and switch on the vacuum. Okay. It says allow 2 to 3 rotations of the disc in a clockwise direction, followed by 2 to 3 rotations in an anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be noisy, okay? All right. Not quite sure what I did there, people. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you've got a button. That's anti-clockwise, that's clockwise. Okay, that's it. Sorry, we've got 3 knobs here, okay? That's your on and off. That's the direction of the platter, and this is the vacuum, okay? 2 to 3 rotations. So noisy, you didn't hear the test, I just turned it the other way. Bloody hell, that's amazing. Right, well, golly gosh, that was noisy. Right, this is going to be a during the day thing. Okay, let's just see what that turned out like. Okay, I'm hoping that we're completely dry. Okay. Okay, turn it over. Right. I reckon we're dry. I mean, it's cleaner. It's cleaner than it was with the Disco Anti-Stat thing that I used to have, but yeah, it's not amazing. We'll do the other side, okay? All right, so I'm gonna switch off here now, okay? So I can do it with both hands. It'd be a lot easier, I think. And I'll get back to you. I'll make a separate video of of this record playing a before and after. Okay, all right, see you later. Bye bye. Right, well, I'm back because I think I want to show you how to do that record cleaning thing properly. Okay, all right, because I didn't apply the fluid properly, I don't think so. This is how to do it. This is Queen Greatest Hits. This is knackered. This is okay. I don't know whether I'll do a first and after demo thing. I might do. I did it with Happy Days, which was the one that I cleaned before. Okay, and I've made that video now. So it'll go up as soon as I've put this one up. All right. So yeah, I've applied some of the fluid. Okay, turn the machine on. Okay, it's spinning round. Okay, and now apply the brush. It's a lot quicker like this, and a lot more efficient. Okay, so that goes on. Okay, and then one-handedly we turn it over. We try and undo the puck. That's better. Okay, and then we take the record, trying not to scratch it with your nails. Okay, and turn it over. Beg your pardon. And sorry, it's a bit of a mess in here as well. And then do that. Put it on. Squirt some more fluid on. Maybe a drop more. Okay, you don't want it to go and sort of land over the edges of the record either. Okay, you can't really see that very well, can you? Right, and then we turn on, start it spinning, hoover up. Oh, right, why doesn't that want to spin? Right, that's now spinning. That's odd. That doesn't want to hoover. Oh, I see, because I've not got the clamp tightened down enough. Sorry. Right, so turn it on. Let it go round a few times. Turn it back the other way. Can you hear me, mother? Oh, dear. I'm trying not to swear. You can press down quite a bit. You can press down quite a bit with that brush, okay, and then you've got to turn it over again, okay. It is a bit laborious, okay, and I'd also say do it during the day, don't do it at night when your neighbours are trying to watch the telly. I'm considerate like that, see, right, okay, and then just turn on. Turn it off, and I reckon that is done. Okay, let's try and take that off. Come along, clamp. Okay, right. When you're holding the camera, it's not very easy to try and not touch the record while you're trying to manipulate it. But that, yeah, it's still a bit on the crusty side, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was. Okay, and with any luck, it should sound an awful lot better. Okay, now I have got some sleeves down there, some inner sleeves that came with it. They're of the horrible plastic variety. Let's just put this back on the spindle in a second. And quickly show you these. At least you've got 50 of them. At least they do provide you with something so that you don't put it back into a dirty inner sleeve. Okay, I'm not going to try and do this one-handedly. Okay, so I reckon that's probably a better way, a more efficient way of cleaning them as well. Okay, all right. Right, okay, so I have been cleaning records most of the afternoon for about 2.5 hours with a couple of stops for breaks, drinks and whatnot. And I've cleaned 27 of them. I've just counted. I didn't actually sort of start out by thinking, I know I'll clean 27 records. I just grabbed a handful and thought, you know, yeah, I'll do those. And just a couple of things to say about the machine itself. It's very, very, very noisy, as you've heard. So yeah, it's one of those things to try and restrict to when you think your neighbours are going to be out. Really, it's not a considerate thing to do when they're trying to watch telly in the evening. The other thing is it wasn't very well packed. It has to be said. The box was nearly coming open. Don't know whether or not that was Moth's fault or whether or not that was Juno Records where I got it from. And yeah, and I don't think that you should ever have to, when you pay quite a lot of money for one of these things, you shouldn't have to fit the hinges on the lid. The hinges on the lid feel like they're actually going to break. They're very plasticky and not very confidence inspiring at all. Okay, as you saw when I was demoing it on the Queen record, suddenly the puck thing loosened itself and stopped the record from moving around on the turntable. But that happened quite a few times. It was a bit irritating, really, and I had to keep screwing it in. I don't know whether or not that's due to the thickness of record labels or whatever it is, but again, surely some thought should have gone into that. But on the whole, people, I'm actually quite pleased. Yes, I did a demo, the Happy Days song, that is on YouTube, or it'll be on YouTube just as soon as I've put this one up. There is a difference between the dirty one and the clean one. It's not, it's like when I sort of first introduced the anti-stat all those years ago. It's not going to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, and the big lesson comes from just keep your records a little bit, a little bit better, really. I mean, that was obviously, that had been in our house or something or other for ages and ages and ages, and and as kids, we didn't treat our records very well. Okay, the Queen record I picked up second hand from some market stall, and again, someone hadn't kept it very well, and it was, it was covered in surface scratches. I cleaned it twice in the end, and still it didn't come up particularly well. But having said that, I've got a very old mono copy of Help, which I seem to remember finding in the Pestalozzi village somewhere, which is like a sort of an antique place. Well, no, the Pestalozzi village isn't, but across the road from there is an antique shop, and there was just this massive pile of records on the floor, and I found that version of Help in there, and it was about £1. So I snapped it up, and I got when there used to be a second-hand vinyl shop in a town in the south of England where I used to live, it was they gave it a clean for me, I think on a Moth or an Oki, something like that, and it didn't come out particularly well. But having said that, I hadn't played it for a long time. I played it about a year ago, something like that, and it on the P5. It sounded awful. I've given it a really, really, really good scrub. Okay, and I actually sort of developed this technique while I was cleaning of actually sort of going right into the grooves like that. Okay, still in the direction of the grooves, i.e. round in a circle, but because I saw someone on YouTube doing with an Oki demo going right across the record, like I was trying to a little bit with the Happy Days record. Doesn't work very well. You've got to go into the grooves like that. Okay, and the fluid will sort of turn into a kind of soapy kind of consistency, and that got that Help record really clean. Similarly, I cleaned a Schumann and Grieg compilation of their A minor piano concertos from 1958, and I played that last night, and it was okay. It was bearable. There were clicks and pops around, and the piano was a little bit clangy, and you could hear sort of dust in the grooves. You know what you can hear. You know when it's there. And it's come out absolutely beautifully. My help, I don't think the mastering on the original mono help was particularly good, but it's come out as well as I can be expected. It's bearable to listen to now. I've got a couple of things to sort of have a listen to see how they turned out. My mono revolver, again, an original mono from the 60s, just like the help was. And also a load of my new vinyl. The Rod Stewart, which I opened last night on YouTube, which was what I got with my birthday voucher from Amazon. It looked okay. I played it, and I think the very act of playing a record will loosen the dust on it. And I played it twice, and both albums looked like it had been snowing on them. And I think giving a new record a clean, whether it's on an anti-stat or whether it's on a Moth or Okinoki or whatever you're going to clean it on, giving it a clean just sort of makes it a little bit more resistant to static, and just clears off that sort of static charge that's on a brand new record to start with. And as I say, I've had some records that have come out as absolutely filthy, it is worth giving new records a clean. Somebody commented on my Rod Stewart unboxing yesterday that Back to Blacks are okay. Well, actually, the last Back to Black I got, which was the first Rod Stewart album that I bought in Southampton, was filthy. So no, it doesn't matter. It's quality control, and they're not always very good at it these days. Especially when they don't supply records in anti-static jackets, because those anti-static sleeves, even with, what have I got here? Queen. Alright, yes, include the cardboard sleevey bit, include that, that's nice to have, but again, you could save cardboard, because you could actually just do this back to back so it doesn't open, and have an anti-static sleeve like that, like they did, because the act of taking the record out of an anti-static sleeve and putting it back in is releasing the dust charge on there. Putting them inside cardboard sleeves actually could damage your record, because it's slightly abrasive. The cardboard's slightly abrasive, so could damage the grooves on the record. So it's when records have always been expensive. They've always been expensive, compared to inflation and whatnot. Paying £5 for a record in the 70s is akin to paying 20 odd quid for a record now. And that they're so expensive, and they've just got to be kept well. That's why the Queen Greatest Hits thing that I had from that market stall, it just obviously been just majorly battered. But it's playable. It sounds a little bit it sounds very crackly actually, but it is playable. It's just about bearable to listen to. Now, bearing in mind that I cleaned 30 of these, I've found a major advantage over, yes, it's a big investment to get a Moth or an Okinoki or something like that compared to a disco anti-stat. A disco anti-stat's a few quid, whereas the Moths and stuff like that are considerably more expensive. But this fluid isn't cheap. Okay, this is a little plastic dispenser bottle that's empty when you get them off, and they provide a litre of fluid with it. This is, I suppose, about a quarter of a litre, and actually over those 30 records I've used about that much fluid, okay, i.e. probably not even an eighth of a litre there, whereas to clean 30 records on the anti-stat, yes, you can reuse the fluid to an extent, but you've got to fill a bath up with it. I say a bath, not a real size, not a full size bath. It's just a sort of thing about so big like that. You've got to fill that with it. And if you've got a filthy record, one filthy record, and you might as well just chuck that lot away. With a few sort of I suppose new records or you know, moderately dirty records, you could get away with using it a few times, but you know, it's incredibly wasteful of that fluid, so you will save money on that. Okay. They actually told me on the phone, this is Juno Records, actually told me that it just came with the machine, and I've actually got 50 sleeves, I've got a bottle of fluid, a brush, and you know, the instructions, and you know, a couple of other little bits and bobs put in there as well. I've also, because they told me there was no fluid in there, I bought some. It's in that parcel over there. So I've got loads and loads and loads of it now, and you know, I think I could probably clean, you know, another maybe 50 records or something just with what's in here, you know. And that was me being quite liberal at times. I was very liberal with my, you know, my old Mono Beatles records and things like that. So yeah, it won't make a silk's purse out of a sow's ear. It won't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Let's get that right. If the record is scratched and damaged anyway, you are going to have a clean, scratched and damaged record. Okay. So it's for records, I suppose, that have been kept reasonably well, that still play, and you know, you'll get, you know, just that little nth of extra sort of quality in the reproduction. Your record player won't sound like it's having such a hard time playing it, put it that way. It will reduce the static charge so that it will make it harder for dust to build up in the first place, and there you go. Okay, just a tiny little addenda. Those of you who watched my Happy Days video, you'll notice that my record player itself is dusty, and again, you know, that's another kind of thing that you need to sort of pay attention to. I only cleaned it the day before yesterday, and already it's, you know, it's looking like, again, someone's had dandruff on it, you know. So yeah, it's all a bit of a minefield and going round in circles, but you know, a little bit of attention just to get, you know, the worst of the dust away will mean that you don't have to keep doing, like I have to do quite a lot, lifting up the stylus, cleaning the dust off, and then carrying on with your record, you know, because it's not, you know, particularly good, you know, especially when we go on about the quality of vinyl, and you know, to have to sort of stop halfway through one side of an album and clean the stylus, you know, it kind of defeats the object, really. So there endeth the lesson, and yeah, have a happy day. See you later. Bye.